Welcome to the Heart of Real Estate podcast with Mike McFarland and Steven Salinas with the Mortgage Mike Group. On the podcast, Mike and Steven discuss with top producing real estate agents what makes them successful, unique, and purpose-filled. Each episode holds a key to unlocking a door to financial freedom.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Heart of Real Estate podcast. I'm your host, Mike McFarland, and I have a very, very special guest today. I have Ruby Miranda. Ruby, how are you doing?
I am doing so great today.
Good. I noticed something that's on your head. It's a bit of a tiara, or perhaps a crown.
Yes.
I believe that you go by the Queen.
I am the
Texas
Queen of Real
The
Estate.
Texas
The
Queen.
Texas
Okay,
Queen of Real
wait.
Estate.
So is that specifically, so tell us about the Texas Queen of Real Estate.
So, when I started first using the brand, of course, I had to do the research on it to look at domain names
Got
and
it.
emails and all that other stuff and who's using what. And there actually were a couple of people like in California and Arizona that were using the Queen of Real Estate.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I want to be really specific. And Texans are proud. We are proud people.
That's right.
Like anything that you add Texas to,
Right.
I think, oh, I'm own. That's mine. That's Texas.
Well, it's bigger.
It is bigger. It is bigger.
Right.
And really, I feel like if I'm gonna be wearing this tiara, be bigger than life when it comes to being the Texas Queen of Real Estate.
Yes.
I want people to know that I am from Texas. And that's why we do things bigger and better when it comes.
Right, Ruby, you have a beautiful big personality. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it. And you have a team, right?
Yes, I do have a team, and we have a team. We've been. So I started in real estate in 2006, and I believe about 5 years in, I started the team.
Okay.
And really it was because, we all fall into that vicious cycle in real estate where you're like, it's good, it's bad, it's good, it's bad, it's good, it's bad, the roller coaster. And so I was like, I need help to keep on this roller coaster to be able to produce. Well, once I started building a team, that's when I realized that it wasn't a roller coaster. I was the roller coaster in my activities and my efforts. And, I was the one that was doing my marketing one month, not doing another, servicing the clients, but then doing my marketing and servicing and doing my marketing and servicing. And I found that yo-yo. So once I started developing a team, is when I was able to find the consistency. And that's why I said I like the team model because it helped me get more of me, spread myself out, be like, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. And I found people that worked on the team that are better at those things than I am, certain things than I am.
Okay. So,
hire for my weaknesses.
Right. For sure.
Yes.
And gives you the opportunity to really stay in your lane and what you're good at. Right?
Exactly.
It's like in the program that I'm coached in, it's do what you're really good at, what you love, and what makes the most impact or money. Right?
Exactly. That's always it.
Yeah. Let's stay in your lane, and then let's bring people around us that can do all the other things that I'm an adventure with you and I don't like to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, for the good examples, I mean, you can already tell a little bit of my personalities. I'm very like, I'm out there. I'm very happy. I'm a lot of personality. What does not come naturally to me is organization.
Yeah.
So, and the one thing when it comes to closings on the files, you have to be organized, especially once you're in contract, to get the contract to the closing table with as little pushback as possible from the clients, other realtors, and other parties involved.
Yeah.
So the young lady who handles all our transaction coordinator, she is absolutely a checklist person, Raina.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna tell her you're gonna do steps 1 through 10. She's gonna do steps 1 through 10 exactly, and how you tell her to do it, how it needs to be done. And she's a rock star when it comes to making sure everything does and has all eyes on everything like that. That's not where I excel at.
Right.
You can put me in front of a camera, I can talk. You can put me in front of a client, I'm gonna pull them in.
Right.
That's where I shine.
Right.
But give me some paperwork, it's gonna be piled up on my desk.
Yep. I understand that.
Yes, I'm just gonna take it off my desk.
Right. Well, and that solves the roller coaster, right? Because now you're doing the things that you're really good at and generate revenue for you.
Yeah, and I love people. I love people. I love talking. I love sales. I always say I'm a natural born salesperson. There's certain things that I've learned. I've learned to be more organized. I've learned to have more systems and rely on my systems and tools more. Those are all learned traits.
Yeah.
But what comes naturally to me is sales.
Right.
And not just because I want to sell stuff. That is just my personality. Like I sold candy in elementary school.
I was going to say, you got the natural salesperson in you. I think you had an entrepreneurial spirit at a very, very young age. Tell us your journey into sales, being an entrepreneur, because I think this is beautiful for our listeners.
Well, I always say, some people, they're raised you go to school, you graduate, you go to college, you have a career, you get into the corporate world. I was lucky enough to be blessed with a mom that wasn't her perspective on it. She was raised into that type of mindset. And for her, she wanted me to have a different life. She wanted me to be able to have that ability and lack of fear to be an entrepreneur. So I remember 14, 15 years old, she would give me leadership books and things to read, because she already saw that in me. Wow. I remember I read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like at 14, 15 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And, but prior to that, and she saw it because elementary school, I was selling candy out of my purse. Middle school, I was selling friendship bracelets, and not like, oh, here's a friendship bracelet. No, I had a little tablet, and in the tablet it had, we're on 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors. Here are the pricing. If you'd like some letters, here are the prices. And guess what? Y'all 3 like to hang out. Y'all are a little clique and friends, best friends. I can make y'all a matching set. I'm gonna give y'all a discount for ordering 3, no problem. And I would take my little orders and take my things. Now, 45-year-old Ruby, her fingers don't move like that to make those friendship bracelets anymore. So I had to find something else to do. So real estate. And then in high school, when they had the co-op program, they're like, you could leave if you have a job. I'm like, wait a minute. I could leave school early if I had a job.
Right.
So by job, like, could I start a business? And they're like, yeah. So I started a courier service at the time, picking up legal documents for attorneys because it was something I was already doing for helping my mom after school.
Yeah.
So I just made it into a business. And that was my first official DBA business, was my senior year in high school. And then I tried several different things. And I always say real estate is the career that I never knew I always wanted.
Yeah.
I could never see myself doing anything else. And it's perfect for my personality and skill set.
Yeah. So at what point in your life did you say, okay, I'm going for it, I'm gonna become a real estate agent?
Well, so the funny thing is, I had done medical marketing before. So right out of high school, I did medical marketing and the internet. So the internet messed up a lot of things.
Yeah.
It made a lot of things great. But as far as things I was doing, I got rid of the courier service. No need for that because you could get it online or faxed over right back in the fax days. Right. Medical marketing, no worries. Don't even need that because people are going to Google it now.
Yeah.
I had a publication that I was doing. How often do we pick up newspapers now and read newspapers online?
Yeah.
So those different ventures that I tried ran out. And my husband, when we started dating, was in corporate.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, he goes, listen, he goes, you're an entrepreneur. He's obviously tried all these businesses. I love that about you. He goes, you're not scared. I was thinking like we should get into real estate. I was watching Carlton Sheets, like it'd be a great idea. I got this much saved. I can go to my classes, then you go to your classes and we'll jump in. I'm like, that's a great idea. I'm like, it's a better plan than I've ever had before starting a business. This guy's great because he's corporate.
Right.
He's the opposite of me in that he is a checklist person. He is you're going to do this every morning, every afternoon, every evening.
Yeah.
Me, it's all like, I might do it once or twice a week,
Right.
So it was great to have that structure and for him to have that motivation and belief. So we jumped into real estate full force at that time together because we had this plan. Well, then obviously we jumped in 2006.
Oh. Yeah.
Right before the crash.
Right on. A couple good years there, or at least a couple of things happening before it all just shifted.
I always say I got into real estate right when the party was over. You know how you go to a party and they're like, and you get there late, you're running late, and you get I don't know about you, I'm always running late. So I'm running late to a party and I get there and they're like, oh man, you should have been here. It was great. It was so fun. That's when we got into real estate.
Right.
So we got into the party. We're like, where's all the fun? There's nothing but work here. Lots and lots of work.
Right.
And getting into real estate those first few years, and this is great for realtors that are getting in the business now who are newer now, is that during those years, those tough years when everybody else was getting out, we had just got in. We didn't know any better.
Right on.
I didn't know that people actually had to work this hard on. I was like, okay, we really got to work hard. Like, wow, I didn't know real estate was so difficult.
Right.
And I'd make calls and do signs and door knocking and do all that different stuff. But the crazy thing is the need to have to do that level of marketing and trying to get business made me who the realtor I was later, as far as building that solid database, getting those initial sphere started. So now I had people I could start calling, going back to them. And really, once the easy market came, I'm like, this is gravy. I just did a tough. I didn't even know it was tough.
Yeah.
Until it wasn't.
Right.
You
were, just out of the sheer sense of, like you said, you didn't know any better, and you really didn't have another plan. This is it, right?
Yeah.
This is what you're going to do. I believe you had a moment in that time period where you and your husband were both like, oh, I don't know, this is it, but I don't know if we're going to make it kind of thing.
Yes. So I remember very clearly, we're driving down the street, you're flipping through the station, we're driving, and we're talking about like just all these issues. I mean, we're like frustrated, we're fighting a lot. Because it is what it is. You're stressed out, finances are tight. That money that was supposed to last a year.
Yeah.
No, it did not last a year. About 6, because you don't think about these things. You get your license, you got to pay for marketing, you do all these classes, and now you got to get a client.
Yeah.
And then you get those first couple of checks and you're like, where's the rest of the money? Oh, the broker kept some, you know? So we were stressed and we're flipping through the stations. And I remember we stopped, I think it was like KSBJ or something like that. And we stopped and they're giving a story of when Jesus is taking the disciples across the lake,
right?
And the storming, and it's everything is happening. I remember listening to the story, and the disciples come down. They're like, Jesus, wake up! You said that we were going to get to the other side, but it's storming. We're about to flood and flip over, and we're not going to make it. And he says, "Ye of little faith."
Yeah.
I said we'd make it across. I never stopped. I never said it would be easy.
Right.
And he went up on deck. And he calmed the waters.
Right on.
Right.
Yeah.
And at that moment when that happened, I told my husband, I was like, you know what? We're going through this turmoil so that we can get to the lake where it's going to be better. Like we have to stick through it. That moment for me was, we have to stick to it. We've already sacrificed so much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's most businesses fail or actually quit when they're on the brink of success.
Right.
And I always think of that little graphic where it shows the little guy with the chisel.
Yeah.
And he's chiseling and he's walking away. But yet if he had just chiseled a little more, he would get to the diamonds on the other side.
Right. Right.
And that's how it is. And sometimes through those toughest times are when we're going to learn the most, grow the most, and then be willing to fight for what we have once we get it.
Yeah.
And we have to push through the pain. And that's what we did at that moment. We pushed through the pain. And then 2 weeks later, we fell into an eminent domain program, and 0 to 6 months closed 0 transactions, 6 months to 12 months closed 23 transactions.
Fantastic.
2 weeks after my husband was ready to walk away from everything.
So this is such a great point, because I think right now I know there's a lot of people in our industry that are questioning, gosh, do I stick with it? Right. Like, this is really hard. It's not what I thought it was going to be. They put in the time and the effort. And right now, maybe in this market, they're not necessarily feeling.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's kind of like anything. The best flowers grow from jagged ground.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And that's what we're in right now. We're kind of in a jagged ground.
Yeah.
And the people who are coming up right now, the people who are learning how to work in this time period are going to be the strongest agents that we have.
Right.
Getting to the other side of that.
Right.
We're in the lake right now.
Right. We're in it. In the storm.
We're in the storm and it's happening right now. When we get to the other side, what's going to happen is we're going to have a bunch of better agents out there.
Right.
We're going to have more people who are more cold. They've had to get more knowledge.
Right.
They've had to get more experience. They've had to become a better agent, because it's not just falling in their lap anymore. They're having to actively go out there, find clients, and provide top level service to retain that clients and retain their career.
Right on. And I like that, provide top level service to retain their clients and their career.
Yeah, because right now I think people took it for granted.
Yeah.
And maybe they didn't provide that level of service before because they're like, me, I can get another client. No big deal.
Exactly.
No, I mean, it is a big deal, because this is your lifeline. This is your sphere. This is the database that you're going to continue to go back to and pull from. And you want them to be your friend always,
Yeah.
Know, like, and trust you.
Exactly. So let's talk about that, because you're really great about the idea of branding around who you are.
Yes.
You're the queen of real estate. You got a lot of good things that you have to give away in that regards. You the way that you, I think, develop and foster a deep connection with your database is really unique as well. Share with us the journey of the crown. Like, how did you get to, I'm the queen of real estate.
Okay.
I'm going to wear a tiara or a crown every day, no matter what.
So it was like a two-faced thing. That was never the intention. I remember we got into real estate. Remember, I just told you how we got into real estate, and I'm like, okay, cool, we're going to do real estate. Like, never thought about the branding piece of it, all that stuff. Well, when we got married, when we got married, I had a tiara on, and I'm like, well, when else can a grown woman walk around with a tiara every day? So obviously I'm going to wear it all 7 days for our honeymoon. So we went on a cruise, and I wore it morning, noon, and night, because I was like, this is my one time to be a princess or a queen, all day, every day.
Right.
And so I wore it, and I don't know if anybody's been on a cruise, but they take fabulous pictures. I mean, you look fantastic. So I get the pictures back. Now, mind you, we were kind of doing everything ourselves. We ordered our business cards at like 1 a.m. on Vistaprint or something like that, you know. And my husband's like, "Hey, do something with the hair, throw on some makeup, put on a shot. I'm gonna take and stand up against the wall. I'm gonna take a picture of you for your business card." So that was my business card. So in my mind, I'm like, I knew that I was wearing sweats from the bottom down, and 5 minutes before I had my hair in a messy bun thrown on the couch, you know. Right. And so that was in my mind. So I get these beautiful pictures back, and I'm like, oh my, remember the budget? The budget really couldn't afford to be doing headshots at that time. Right. And so I look at the business, this picture, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this picture. It'd be beautiful if I only didn't have the stupid tiara on. It would have been perfect. Mm-hmm. And this lady behind me, she's like, I'm so sorry. She's, I don't mean to interrupt. She goes, but what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a realtor. She goes, have you ever heard of Delva? She's down in Clear Lake. She wears a big pink hat, drives a big pink limo. Everybody, if you're living in Clear Lake, you know who she is. I said, no, I've never heard of her. Is she your agent? No, but I live in Clear Lake, so I know who she is. Right. And she goes, so you could be like the queen of real estate. I was like, that's amazing. Oh, I was so excited. So I came back, and right away I was like, okay. And that's when I started researching and everything. I started doing the Texas Queen of Real Estate. Well, at first it was literally just a branding piece. I would only wear it for pictures, headshots, speaking engagements, things like that. Like it was just literally kind of those type of events. Right. Well, then fast forward a few years later, I go to another event where they're talking about marketing and branding and how there's, the industry is saturated with mortgage people, lenders, title, all these industries. I mean, it is what it is. It is saturated. And how can we set ourselves apart? He goes, because for the most part, we all do the same things. You know, we all do the same fundamentals. So there has to be certain things that set us apart, aside from just the values that we bring to our client, right? So he goes, for example, he was the beard. He wore the beard, and he always had the beard. And he's like, at least you can take yours off. Because so whatever it is that your brand is, do it. I remember sitting, my husband's like, I told you you should wear the tiara. Every day. I'm like, that's just crazy. So at that time, I would carry these little tiaras in my purse. And if I'd go anywhere and I saw little girls, I'd be like, excuse me, ma'am, can I give your daughter a tiara? She's so precious. And I'd give the daughter a tiara, and I'd give the mom a business card with a little tiara brooch on it. Right. And they loved it. Yeah. So then so I had tiaras with me. So I throw a tiara on. The next morning I come down, and the first thing, as soon as the elevator doors open, some lady's like, oh my gosh, happy birthday. I'm like, oh, it's not my birthday. Why are you wearing the tiara? Oh, and I put my hand in my pocket. I'm like, my name's Miranda, the Texas Queen of Real Estate. If you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the Houston, Texas market, give me a call. I'd love to work with your referrals. Right. And she's like, oh my God. So that first year that I started wearing the tiara every single day, I personally put in people's hand 1,000 business cards. Right on. And it was that impactful. And it wasn't just all like, hey, here's a card. Yeah. Really, it was only if they mentioned the tiara. I'm surprised how many people don't mention the tiara. They just have normal conversations. And I guess they see a lot of people with tiaras. I don't know. Now I give the pens. Yeah. So now I have the pens. You have the pen over there.
This cool pen. Love the pen. So
yeah. And so now when people talk about it, I give the pens out. Well, I like the pens actually better than the card. I actually stopped carrying business cards around with me because I carry the pens around, and I give them to waitresses and waiters and people at anywhere I go. Yeah. And I'll go to some of these places later, and they're still using the pen, and they see me from across the room. Hey girl, oh my God, it's the queen. And there's one restaurant that I frequent that I'll be like, okay, I'm just gonna run in there real quick without the tiara because I don't feel like fixing my hair. And I'll run, and that waitress will always call me out. Miss Queen, where is your tiara? And I'm like, oh, like I got to keep a spare in the glove compartment now.
This is okay. Here's the beauty of this. I see the beauty in it. And it is that you have the tiara and you're engaging people that are engaging you. Yes. Right. So it's a filter to connect with people that are like, okay, they're interested in you. Great.
And then here's the crazy thing: is the crazy pen. The pen. Can I borrow your pen for a second? So I'm a visual person, right? So I go into the other day. A couple of weeks ago, I lost my wallet. Okay. And I couldn't find the wallet. I had gone to go eat at Gringos. I called Gringos. Hey, is my wallet there? They're like, no. We'll look. The waitress that was here yesterday wasn't here. I will ask if she finds it. I don't get a call back. I follow up. They hadn't found anything. I get a random call. And it's a manager from Gringos. And she's like, hey, she's this is, are you Ruby Miranda? She's like, I found your wallet. She goes, honestly, I looked at your wallet. There wasn't anything that had your phone number on it. But I was like, well, let me Google her, see if she comes up. Luckily, she's, you're a realtor. You're all over the place. She's like, so she goes, you want to come pick up your wallet? I said, cool. I go over there the next day to pick up the wallet. I'm in there talking to the young lady at the stewardess at the stand right there where they're greeting you. And she's like, oh my gosh, I love your tiara. And I said, thank you. And I gave her a pen. My name's Miranda, Texas Queen of Real Estate. Here's the pen. And then she's like, oh my gosh. And let me see. Guys, and the thing is that people won't remember what you say, but they will remember how you make them feel.
Right.
And that's one of the things with the pens and even the business cards that had the little brooch on them. And those little brooches were like 35 cents a dozen. I mean, 35 cents for one, you know?
Right.
So people, the reaction they would get from getting a little something, you know? So I gave her the pen. She's like, that's so cool. She goes, can my friends have one? She calls over several of her friends. I gave out like 6 of them to all the little friends. And they're like, and I'm like, one for you, one for you, one for you, one for you, one for you.
Right.
And you want one too? Come on over. I see you looking. Come on over. So I give them all the pens and they're literally all standing there looking at, oh, wow, the Queen team. That's pretty cool. Oh, wow. And I said, yes. I said, and now that you have the pens, I said, I tell them all at once. So I got like 6 of them there. If you know anybody who needs to buy, sell, invest in real estate, now you know who I am. You could say, you know, the Texas Queen of Real Estate, and you have them call me.
Right on.
And the little girl, she must have been like 19, 20 years old. The awe in her eyes, because she goes, oh my God, did she just sell us? Girl, that was smooth. I saw that, how we went from the tiara to the pens to you selling real estate.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not going to forget. I'm going to keep this pen.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But for her to see that correlation and the feelings that they get from them.
Right. Well, and I would say back to her, I'd be like, hey, are you interested in getting in real estate? Because I got a slot on my team.
Literally.
Right? If you notice that, then come on.
I promise you, I walked out of there and I was like, if I was hiring right now or looking for talent, that would be, and really you should always be looking for talent, right?
Right.
Somebody like that, if I had a position available for her right now, I would snatch her up right there. For her to be so young, to have recognized the correlation between all that.
Yeah.
That's future success right there.
That sure is.
And that's also the power of branding.
Right.
When it comes to, you know, again, having that string of conversations and something that sets you apart. And I go to the post office and people are like, oh my God, it's the Queen. Or I run into people, I saw your one video on this. I saw your one video on that. And, you know, just being out there.
Let's talk about video, because when we met, there was a really cool, because it's clearly we're on the same page as this, like, how do we use video in the midst of our businesses to grow influence and just get greater exposure. Tell us about your journey into video and what are you doing today? Like you got, I know you do. So I do too. So yeah.
Sorry, Mike, you messed up. You asked me about video.
Let's go. Let's talk about it.
So video, such a key component these days.
Right.
You know, so many people are scared of video. But the thing is that with video, you can actually reach such a larger audience.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing beats picking up the phone and making a phone call.
Right.
Nothing's going to beat that.
Right.
However, how do we get a mass amount of phone numbers and emails and people to call? And wouldn't it be nice to stop? I mean, we spend so much of our time being trained to learn how to chase business. I'm focusing right now on how can I get business to chase me?
Right.
And that's what video is. That's what video is. If I can master the video, is they're going to chase me. So I'm doing right now video shorts.
Yep.
We're doing long videos that we put on YouTube and Facebook. We do some ad spend behind that. But with the shorts is really where it's at. Because shorts, you can record one short and you can do it on your TikTok. You can do it on Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels. And Facebook has 2 reels. It has your business reels and you have your personal reels and the Instagram and the TikTok and, you know, and then Google Shorts.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. One video may perform better on Google Shorts than it does on TikTok. Something else may perform better on TikTok than it does on Instagram Reels. And you don't know where your audience is at because some people are more prone to Instagram. Some are more prone to Facebook. Be on all places at once. But basically, if you're going to put the effort into filming one video, make it count.
Right.
And I know that when you came over there, we had the discussion about how can we repurpose one video to make a whole bunch so we don't have to duplicate our efforts.
Exactly.
And really it's film one video and duplicate it out. You got your video, you had your video script, obviously you had to do it. You do your blog, and that's basically the same, goes the same thing. That blog, you divide it into a couple of tweets. That video, you divide it into a couple of shorts. You put all that content out there, somebody's going to see it. Right. And it shows up. And then because you never know which is going to hit.
Yep.
It's kind of like gambling.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to hit. So just put your bets on all of it, you know?
Right.
And, but really, the video is absolutely where it's at. And I think the biggest thing that's helped me now is using teleprompter.
Yeah.
Because I love to talk. In case y'all didn't get that vibe. I love to talk.
Is a teleprompter keep you on track? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
It keeps me on track because I got so much to say and I want to make sure that I'm getting the right points across.
Yeah.
I don't want to ramble, which I have a tendency to do if I do a video without a script.
Right.
I know my weaknesses.
Yeah.
Right. This is the first thing is recognizing my weaknesses. And so putting that script into place so I could kind of plan out what I was going to do and put it into the point and put it into bullet points or paragraph style.
Yeah.
And put it that's been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Having a teleprompter, which I use Big View, game changer for me because I literally upload my script into there, put it on, read what I'm going to do, and then do the editing and get it out there.
So I want to, is this an expensive endeavor to get started? It's not, is it?
No, to get started, really, your phone. The Big View has a free version.
Right.
The only caveat is if you use the free version, it has their logo on it. But I mean, like, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to do the paid version is pretty cool because the paid version is you don't have the watermark on it. You can upload your logo onto it. You can make a standard outro.
Yeah.
That you always just kind of cap that onto the end of your videos.
Right on.
So if you don't have to do editing, and then even there's if you know how to edit in TikTok, Viva Video is a free editor, and it's laid out the same and works the same as TikTok. So if you can edit in TikTok, you can edit in Viva Video, and then from there you can use that video to put it on your different platforms.
Right.
And small little trick, guys. If you're on TikTok, if you make your video on TikTok, you're like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I love TikTok and I just want to put it on there and upload it. Well, the thing is that when you get that video, if you download it to your phone and try to upload it to the other places, you can upload it to the other places, won't necessarily get as much traction on those other places because it has the TikTok logo on it.
Got it.
But there's an app for that. There's a website. I'm gonna give you a little secret. There's a website called Snaptick.
Snaptick. Okay.
Snaptick. And you, it's Snaptick. And you grab your link from TikTok, you drop it in there, and you download a clean version that doesn't have takes the watermark off.
It strips it off. And
it strips it off.
And then you go on all the other social media and they're like, oh, we like this.
Right. And then the key is when you put it on the other social medias, get a little bit, either put an effect or a low tone audio that's trending, either an effect that's trending or a low tone audio that's trending from that platform.
Okay.
Because that platform wants you to use their little tools on there.
Yeah.
So you get that video. So like I did one yesterday, I had it on TikTok, but then I came over here, I threw a little glitter on it. You know, I threw a little glitter filter on it. I'm like, that's cute.
Yeah.
You know,
so you got a lot going on. So
I do.
How do you prepare? Like literally, I can see you got a lot going on in your brain. So when you come to work at the beginning of the day, how do you prepare? Like, what do you do to get yourself ready? So
to be really honest, it is a constant challenge for me because again, organization is not my strong point.
Right.
So it is constantly saying, okay, what's the problem? Me, I'm the problem.
Yeah.
I see. This has been my thing. You know, I just turned 45 in December, and I love 45.
Yeah.
I love my 40s in general. The 40s have been fabulous because in your 20s you're like it's their fault, and in your 30s it's like, I mean, your 20s is like it's everybody else's fault. In your 30s it's like, I mean, I guess I could see where maybe I played a part in it. I guess. Yeah. And your 40s is all like, no, that was me. Like I'm the problem. I'm it. So in this situation, when it comes to that, I know I'm an issue. So what I do is, and every so often I got to kind of redo what I'm going to do. But I make a list of these are the daily things that I got to do. Like if I do nothing else, I got to check my email.
Yeah.
I got to return some phone calls. I gotta return some text messages.
Yeah.
The other thing is my videos. I designated my video day.
Yeah.
Well, 12 to 4 is actually Wednesdays, my video days. However, like I have an event, I have something I have to do next week. So I'm gonna say, okay, I know that that's my dedicated 4 hours. I'm just gonna move that to another time slot.
Right.
One of the biggest life changes for me was using a digital calendar.
Yeah.
That was so hard because I love paper. I love the feel of it, the smell of it. I love writing. I love making notes. I love highlighting, circling.
Yeah.
Love it all. I'm a doodler.
Yeah.
But keeping a digital calendar was life changing for me. And I color coded it. So I know when I schedule something like neon green is a listing appointment.
Yeah.
Magenta is marketing stuff.
Right.
You know, yellow is coaching. So I can look at my calendar in one glance and see what I got to do. And so now with my daily my task list that I kind of have my daily to-dos, I'm like, okay, if I know this week these are the days I'm committed to doing that, like the videos.
Yeah.
Wednesdays is my normal day. However, because if I have everything else calendared out, then I know that I can move that to a time slot. Because what happens is most of the time we don't respect the calendar.
Oh my gosh, that's right. So true, right?
We don't respect the calendar, and we don't. And the key is moving it. not just leaving it there and saying, okay, I'm going to move it to Thursday. And then you never move it to Thursday. And then Thursday comes and you just forget about it. You don't do it. And then you look up a couple days later, dang it, I forgot to do my video day.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So having that designated day and then being respectful of the calendar. And if you're going to move it, I mean, always try not to, but if you're going to move it right then and there while you're setting your next appointment so that you can respect your calendar. Color coding is huge, as a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's trial and error. Like I said, I'm not the most organized person. I know I'm more organized than a lot of other people, but I'm not the most.
Yeah.
Emails, I use Sane Later. So it pulls out a lot of the junk and puts it in a completely different folder. So our inbox is is just real estate.
Yeah.
I like that because you can train it as you're moving stuff. And you say, I don't ever want to see this in my main inbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it helps reduce it. We zero out our inbox every day.
Nice.
So stuff doesn't get lost. And I say it is nice because I've met realtors that have like 100, 200,000 emails in their inbox, and it's insane. Like stuff gets lost. So really, I think a lot of our organization that we do have that helps keeps us flowing. That even with me, even with me being a little bit not so organized, is the systems and the tools and making sure we're putting our filters in our emails, using our calendar. Those things like save so much time, energy, and help keep you organized.
Well, so I'm gonna just encourage you. You are organized. You did it right. It may not be your natural, and understand because I feel the same way, right? And understanding like, wow, I think the power in the calendar when you can look at your week, block your time, block the income producing activity or marketing activity, and make sure that no matter what, I'm going to execute. I will execute this period every day of every week for the rest of my life because I'm running a business and a business isn't running me. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's true. And you know what the beauty of this, and again, I say that I'm not organized because I know the improvement that I can do, and and that's the hard part always is knowing what you should be doing, knowing that you should be doing, you can do it, and then not doing it anyways, right? So, so when it comes to that, is that the great thing is that when you put systems into place, like the email organization, using your calendar, CRMs, having a nice clean CRM where your lists are organized, you know what you're looking at. I have spreadsheets. Again, it doesn't come naturally. When I got pregnant, other people nest and they clean their house. I learned how to program spreadsheets because I wanted to make sure
Excel spreadsheet, which is not an easy thing to do.
No, because I wanted my team to be organized. Right. So I was like, I'm going to have to make some spreadsheets. So I have all my little spreadsheets that tell us like, they made this many calls and they had this many answers and that percentage to this is this. And, so I can track everything a lot better. And again, in my mind, I'm like, I have like 5 to 10 spreadsheets that I'm using. But and I'm not like organized, but do I have one document that I have all my links on and I have categorized? So I'm pretty organized. And what it gives me the power to do is step away from the business when I need to.
Oh, that's nice.
I struggled for 16 years to have my baby.
Yeah.
And when I finally had my miracle child, I was able to work from home for a year. I was able to not step foot in the office for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I'd bring him to come visit the office, maybe knock a couple of things out. But the first 4 months, didn't step into the office one time. There was no need for me to go into the office. I did anything I had to do was via Zoom with the baby at home, delegating it out, assigning it through a task, sending an email, doing whatever I got to do, and then still being able to work from home. And then once I was ready to kind of start taking on more work activities, working from home at the house with the baby, because knowing that my team was going to be able to take care of everything because I had previously already put things into place to get them organized.
Right. Freedom.
Yeah.
You have freedom. You have financial freedom, you have time freedom, family freedom, right?
And the crazy thing is, I remember the first 5 years we were in real estate, we worked from 8 a.m. to midnight.
Yeah.
We had our older children that we had. I married into children. So those children, when they were little, we would take them, we would drop them off at school. We'd get to the office right when school started. They'd go to school. We'd pick them up at 3:30. I'd bring them to the office. They had a little office, a door that connected to my office. They had a futon in there, a computer, and a TV, so they could do their homework. They could relax. They could do whatever they got to do. Yeah. I would have that door open. I'd help them with their homework. They'd eat their dinner there. Here at the office, we'd go to the back, eat our dinner real quick. Sometimes not even. Sometimes we'd like picking up food on the way out.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'd fall asleep at the office, and we'd carry them from the office to the car, to their bed. And that was our life for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then even prior to having the baby, we were still working 8:30 to 9 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And so the crazy thing is between putting in systems, tools, the team, organization, I start my day now at 10 a.m. and I leave at 6 p.m. And it's
Hallelujah.
I mean, and it's like, for me, that's probably the hardest thing.
Right.
That's probably been the hardest thing to adapt to, is not working the crazy hours that I used to work.
Right.
I used to walk out. If on occasion I left at 6 o'clock, I'd be like, well, what do normal people do between 6 to 8 o'clock is my time to jam when it came to lead conversion.
Right.
I love lead calling between 6 and 8 p.m.
Right.
That's like everybody's answering their phone. It's never a bad time. I'm just stuck in traffic. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, I'm available.
Right.
Love the 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock time slot.
Right.
I can't do that now.
Right.
And that's the hardest challenge. That's been the hardest challenge. And then going home and relaxing has been hard. I mean, I have this adorable baby and I want to play with him, but yet at the same time, I'm like, let's check my email real quick.
Right.
Let's check the email real quick. But now, like, I'm getting better. I'm like, okay, I put it in the room to charge. I'm trying. It's a daily effort, but I like, other people got to learn to work. I have to learn to relax with my baby and not think about work, because as realtors, it is 24/7.
Yeah.
That's 24/7.
Yeah, it will consume.
It will if you let it.
Every ounce of if you let it.
If you let it.
Right.
And I remember it was like over a decade ago that I stopped showing houses on Sunday, and I'm like, I thought the world was going to end, and it didn't. Yeah. And I just told them, I said, sorry, Sunday's my day for church and family. And there was about a good 5 to 6 year period where we had unplugged Sundays. Yeah. We were not allowed to have our phones. The kids were not allowed to have technology. And we just played games, ate lunch, hung out. Kids didn't like it, but we loved it. And guess what?
I'm stealing that idea from my house.
And what they remember now is, I remember we used to always do those unplugged Sundays, and we'd play board games. And you always made us play the board games, and you always, but it was our time to spend with them. And it was a time that we were going to disconnect, that we purposely disconnected. And as business owners, sometimes we'd have to sneak into the room and, okay, no fires. Nothing's burning down. We're good.
Right.
But we wouldn't but during those unplugged Sundays, we'd have the phones put up. We're not doing anything like that. And you have to give yourself that permission. There's no real estate emergency, and there's no client worth your family.
Yeah. Right. We're not saving lives.
No, exactly. We're not saving lives. We're not saving lives. And that's the thing, is that I've raised children already. Yeah. I have a 25-year-old, a 21-year-old, a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, and then my miracle baby that's going to be 2 in a couple of weeks. Wow. And what I can tell you from already having raised children, being in the real estate industry, you're not going to get those years back. Right. It's going to fly by so fast. And that's why when I tell myself that, when I'm at home, when I don't leave the office, when I don't get to the office till 10:15 a.m., I tell myself it's fine, because how he's 2. How many more years am I going to be able to? It makes me want to cry just thinking about it. How many more years am I going to be able to hang out with him for 2 hours in the morning? Right. He's going to be in school. I'm going to get out at 6 o'clock. How many more years am I going to have that he wants to hang out with me at 6 o'clock? How many more times am I going to walk in the door that he's going to run to me? Yeah. I never know. And I've seen this thing says, you never know when it's going to be the last time that you pick them up, that you carry them. Right. You never know it's going to be the last time they ask you to sleep in the bed with you. You never know it's the last time that they run to you when they see you at the door. Right. So knowing that I'm never going to know when that last time is, that's what gets that right there is why I'm like, okay, having seen the other children grow up so fast and wishing that I could go back in time and give them more time makes me give him more time now, because I realize that my clients love me and they're going to be here for me. But my babies, my children, and so all my kids, but they're all great. All my kids are good. My little baby's good. And I'm learning to not balance. Yeah. Life is, I learned that you cannot, there's no work-life balance. That is a myth. Stop chasing. If you're chasing work-life balance, that is a myth. Right. It's more like a pendulum. Okay. When you're with your family, be with your family. When you're with work, be with work. Let that pendulum swing. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah. It's fine. Let the pendulum swing. Mm-hmm. But just when it's over here on family side, be with your family. When it's over here on business side, be with your business. Yeah. And that's kind of what I do. When I leave the office, when I leave the house, I know I have 8 hours to get everything done that I need to get done. Yeah. Because then I'm going to go home with my baby. Right. And I work more furiously now. I feel like I get more stuff done during that 8 hours than I did that I got in the 12, 16 hours before. You're working less, doing more. Right. Because you're focused and you know that every minute counts. Because every minute counts. Because every minute that I play around at the office is a minute I'm taking away from my baby. Exactly. Because then I got to stay late. Right. And so I don't want to do that. No, but when I think of it that way, and so when I've been a lot more disciplined since I've been back at the office. We got a new office, and so we moved back. We were working from home for a little while, which was a blessing because the baby was there. And then we're working back at the office now, and I realized I'm a lot more focused on what I'm doing, because then people come in, I'm like, okay, give me a minute. And I have timers right there because I'm like, I'm working. I want to get home to my baby.
Right.
I got to leave at 6 o'clock.
Right.
I've never experienced this before where it's like, that like
Right.
I have to like,
Right.
and just being older and knowing, being older and having, I think it's being older and having raised children already that gives me the wisdom to know how I want to raise him.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So
it's
intense.
This is intense. Okay. So if you, gosh, that was awesome because we didn't cover that really.
Yeah.
And that you just had such
I'll
nuggets.
tell you right now, I think the hard, and I'll tell you right honestly, what the hardest part is being a female.
Yeah.
A female career woman, raising a family, doing real estate, doing everything, because no matter what you do, if as a female, men don't have the same thing. I know men love their children and men absolutely play an essential role in their children because their children love them. However, there's always a default parent.
Yeah.
When there's always a default parent, and the tendency is the mother typically has is the default parent.
Right.
We are the guilt of not working or the guilt of working. Like either way, you're going to feel some kind of way, right? So just like I said, so just live your life. Do that pendulum thing where you're like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just going to live my best life with my baby here, and I'm going to live my best life at work over here.
Right on.
Just learn, because the guilt's never going to go away. All you can do is say, okay, how can I make adjustments to make it better, to make it easier, so that I know that I'm doing the right thing. And I know I'm doing the right thing now, like I said, because I spend those 2 hours with him in the morning. I spend those evenings with him. I'm there with him Saturdays and Sundays, and we're finding our groove.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and your work gets attention as it needs it, and your family gets the attention it needs.
Yes.
Because it deserves it.
And systems and honestly, systems and tools plays a huge part of it, because again, and the systems and tools create the consistency.
Yeah.
The consistency creates the freedom.
Right.
And having trusted team members that are willing to go in there and respect the systems and tools, and they also love the systems and tools because they're also working for the same things.
Yeah.
It's when we're working together as a team, and we're like, hey, we don't want any of us being here at 9 o'clock at night.
Nobody needs to work to that late.
Yes, unless we're having a party, then we can all work that late. A call party. I mean, a call party.
Right. Come on now.
Call party.
What? Okay, so as we wrap up, you're either looking back to yourself as a new agent, or maybe even new team members that are coming along to join you. What are 2 or 3 bits of wisdom that you would say, okay, having known what I know now, I would do this at the very beginning? What would those 2 or 3 things be?
Database. Be a collector of names, numbers, and email addresses.
Okay.
And put them in your database.
Good.
And my first database was a 3-inch binder.
Right.
And I had lead sheets on it. And I would call for my lead sheets, and I'd make my notes in there. And I had a whole little system. I was like, I'd have a pack of colored pens, and every note was going to be a different color pen, because I'm a visual person.
Course, yes.
And like three 3-inch binders later, it's hard to get through all those numbers manually.
Yeah.
And a system. I don't use a dollar, but a CRM, a good CRM where you put all your data, you keep all your notes. It doesn't have to be anything fancy.
Yeah.
I'm not tech by nature. I use Salesforce right now, and it is an extremely robust system.
Right.
However, that's not where I started. I actually started with Pipedrive.
Okay.
Super easy, like $12 a month is basically free.
Yeah.
And it doesn't send emails or anything out like that. But what it does do is it gives you one place to put all your names, number, and email address. Right. And you create these little pipe drives. You can say, and what I liked about it is you assign like days that you want to call them, and you just look at it, whatever's red, those are the people you're going to call.
Right on.
And then once you're in a place where you've outgrown that one, then because there's even ones that you can supplement if you want. Like I think there's like Lion Desk or something like that do emails, MailChimp. I don't know. I don't do a lot of mails yet. Yeah. Emails as far as like systematically like that.
Right.
And so there are services you can use to kind of complement that if you just have that database. But really the biggest thing is keep every phone number, name, and email address. Yeah. I closed a client 2 years ago that's been in our database for 10 years.
And this is the first time you closed them?
Yes. Which leaves me to the next caveat of one of my recommendations is that follow-up.
Okay.
The fortune is in the follow-up.
Right.
There's no truer statement. That lady, she was in our database. She got qualified to purchase the home about 10 years ago. Nothing was ever good enough. No. I mean, I remember her little, this is how it is. I called her one day because I put her in my database. And I set a reminder to call her every 6 months. So really it's only 2 calls. It's only 20 calls.
Yeah. Right.
It's really only 20 calls if you think about it, because she's only getting 2 calls a year.
Right.
So I call her and I'm like, hey girl, I was just giving you the annual call. You ready to buy a house finally? She's all like, no. I said, girl, you know, at this point, we're basically best friends, right? I said, you've been in my database for 10 years. When I first started working with you, I said, your son was about, I said, how old is your son now? Oh, he's like 20, 21. I forgot what she said. And I'm like, you know that when we first started working together, your son was only like 10 years old, right? Was he really? I said, yes. I said, don't you remember we'd go see houses and every house he wanted to pee? Like, it's like he was marking his territory. And she starts laughing. She's like, oh my gosh, yes. I said, yes. So we're basically best friends. So, well, here's the crazy thing. Had you bought a house 10 years ago, we were showing you all these houses over there because we started talking. Then, and you would be that house right now, you would have built up about $100,000 to $150,000 worth of equity.
Yeah.
Over these 10 years.
Yeah.
I said, and I said, we're talking again. Because I called her and she said, yeah, I think I am ready. Now we're talking again. And those same houses are literally 2 to 3 times what you were looking at them before.
Wow.
Maybe like 4 or 5 days later, she calls me up. She's like, Ruby, she's like, I got to do it this year. She goes, I cannot. When you said that to me, she was so profound. She goes, what was profound was that my son was 10 years old when we started looking.
Right.
And here he is already having his own babies.
Yeah.
And I still don't own a home.
Yeah.
So she went out and she bought a house that year, 10 years in our database, 2 follow-ups a year, systematically, not, guess what? It wasn't the majority of the time, just coincidentally, it happened that I was the one who called her that time.
Right.
But I have other ladies on the team that have called throughout the 10 years. So it's not even always me that calls.
Right.
But she's been getting those 2 calls a year for 10 years. Coincidentally, it just happened to be me that called her when she was finally ready.
Right on.
And fortune's in the follow-up.
Yeah.
Database, put them in your database and follow up with them.
Yeah. So I think the 2 struggles people have, I don't have a list. Well, you can make a list. Well, then you got to call them.
Yeah.
Right. And what I'm hearing, what's so beautiful about this is you make them friends. These are friend calls. I don't think there's a person on that list that you can't call that you don't have some personal attachment or connection that you can relate to.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, it's Ruby. It's the queen. She's calling me. The queen's calling, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's always of course, I'm sure everybody knows the frog or Ford,
yeah,
family occupation recreation goal, goals. So it's always going over those fundamentals. Sometimes you don't even get through all of them. It's just having conversations with people.
Right.
It's not even. We started calling them, not even with them specifically, do you have a real estate need? It's more like, hey, Mike, it's Ruby, the realtor. I was just giving you a call to check in with you. How are things going? How's the family? How's work? What are you doing? Listen, hey, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I just want to know, do you know anybody looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate? And then they'll tell you, yeah, no, okay, hey, well, if you know anybody, let me know. I'm not even asking them at this point. I'm just like, hey, do you know anybody?
Yeah.
And if they need it, they're like, well, actually, my husband and I were just talking the other day. Or it's like, no, maybe my cousin, or no, I don't know anybody right now.
Yeah.
Well, let them know.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I just had this conversation this morning. So this is really good. So we're going to keep going. I was talking to an agent and the comment was, I just don't want to be that pushy used car salesperson when I make the call. And I think we can all kind of relate to that.
It's hard to get over that mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
You can put quotes around that. And and I was like, that's a total lie. First off, that thought is a lie that we let get stuck in our brain. What do you say about that? Like if an agent said, gosh, that feels so salesy.
Then find a way to not make it salesy.
Okay.
For example, one of the things I'm going to implement this year is, and I'm just putting together my plans and everything, because we moved in November, we moved in the building, we had different back-to-back events. So I'm like, okay, I'm a little behind on my planning, but it's fine because I mostly planned out. However, one of the things that I added on my daily to do is a equity call.
Okay.
So as my anniversary calls comes up, I'm going to call my clients, and I'm actually let me go back. I see that anniversary call come up, the anniversary date's there. I'm going to do a quick CMA. I'm going to set them up on Market Insight on HAR. That's a free service if you're a platinum agent.
Okay.
So they're going to get there. I'm going to do the CMA. I'm going to set them up on Market Insight. I'm going to do a quick video with BombBomb that I can just do my screen share. I'm going to show them, here's a quick CMA, give them a little overview of what's going on in their neighborhood, their market, what their value is. Then I'm going to go to Market Insight. I'm going to pull up the Market Insight. I'm going to show them, hey, this is Market Insight. This is what this email is. You're going to get it once a month. It's going to tell you what the homes are selling for, plus or minus percentage. You know how many days on market, so you can keep the pulse, keep your thumb on the pulse of what's going on in your neighborhood. And then I'm going to email that out. So that we're just that's going out to them. Yeah. The minute I hit send, I'm going to give them a call. Yeah. Hey, Mike, it's Rubio. Just giving you a call. Happy anniversary. And they're like, huh? Happy anniversary. Oh, did you forget about our anniversary, Mike? I love to make them laugh. And they're like, wait, what? Hey. Just kidding. Hey, I was just giving you a call. Happy home anniversary. Do you know it's been like 3 years, 2 years, 10 years that you've been in your home? Oh my God. Yeah. Hey, listen, Mike, I don't want to take a lot of your time. So I just want to let you know, I emailed you over something, a market analysis of your home, so you can know how much equity you have in your home right now from the time that you owned it. So I gave you a brief explanation so you can see your property values. Take a look at that. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Again, not saying that you're looking to sell the home, Mike. I just want you to make sure you know how much value you have how much equity you have in your current home. Yeah. And I also said you have a Market Insights, and that's just going to keep you up to date with what's going on in your neighborhood. Keep your thumb on that pulse in the neighborhood. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. Do you think, that's providing them value. People want to know what their house is worth. Yeah. Yeah. And so, and again, to get over, because again, I'm transitioning back into really getting full force. How can I get the most bang for my buck within those 8 hours? I'm changing things this year because I only have 8 hours to squeeze everything into now. Right. You know, I'm squeezing in 16 hours worth of work for me into 8 hours. Right. So that right there was like, okay, that's a great way to, before I used to call anniversary calls, but it was really kind of awkward because I'd just be like, hey, Mike, it's Ruby. Just give you a call. Hey, happy anniversary. Did you forget our anniversary? Ha ha ha. They're like, happy anniversary. How's the house? How's the kids? Okay. All right. Well, great. Thanks. Yeah. If you know anybody looking to buy, sell, invest, let me know. Right. That was the call, which is not a bad call.
It works. It still works.
Yeah. It still works. It's still good. But then the biggest thing is, again, because of saturation of the market, what's the value proposition that I can get? Yeah. I want to be a resource for the client. Oh, I wanted to get away from just being Ruby that sells houses. Yeah. I want them to come to me for everything. They need a notary. Ruby, do you know a notary? Yes, I do. Ruby, I was thinking of selling my house. What do you think? Yeah. Hey, Ruby, I want to do some upgrades on my house. Are you looking to sell? No, I don't want to sell. You're probably going to be here for another 5 years, but we kind of like want to look nicer while we're here. Let me come to your house. Let me tell you if you're going to spend money on it, what you need to spend money on, where your equity is at right now, so you know what you're working with. Hey, maybe after you see the numbers, you're going to be like, that's so amazing. I do want to sell. And if not, that's fine. At least I gave you some advice on what to do to get the house ready for the future. You're going to invest in it anyways. Yeah. So just, like I said, what's the value? What's the value I can bring? Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody enlightened me on this idea. Like they took the frog, right, and turned it into forge. So the FORG part, right, or whatever, FORD or FROG part.
Yeah, because I love frogs. Yeah, for many reasons. Right. Fully rely on God. Right. On. ROG.
Like that. Yep.
Family, recreation, occupation, and goals.
Yep. Exactly.
That. So that's why I like it in general.
Right. And there's this idea of just the give, right? Yeah. The excitement and the giving, right? So taking the G and turning it into the give. And that's what you're doing. You're taking your excitement, which you have a lot of excitement, and that's great. That comes across really well. And there's a give. I'm a resource. Like I'm not taking from, I'm giving into the people, into my sphere, my database. Yeah. And that giving of information, that I am a resource for you, is such a great tactic.
For so long, I would see people that always count their volume. I want to do this much in volume. I want to do this much in GCI. My goal has always been, honestly, it wasn't until a few years ago when I joined Keller Williams that they're very big about teaching you on the business aspect of real estate. Right. I was just doing my thing. I wasn't running it as a business. I was running it as a job. Right. Yeah. And in doing that, I only focused on how many families could I help. Yeah. Like that was literally my thing. I was like, what's your goal? I want to help this many families. Regardless, because the smallest house I've ever sold was $18,000. So I don't discriminate. I don't care if it's an $18,000 house or a $1.8 million house. Yeah. Hey guys, if you want to send me a $1.8 million house, I'm available.
We can do it.
But $18,000,
Texas queen of real estate,
$18,000 will do as well. Right. So it was never about the money that's going to come from it. It's how many people could I help? Because I always felt if I don't help them, this is what I would tell my team. This is the reason you have to do follow-up. And this is true. This is the reason you do follow-up. And this is your motivation. If I don't call them, somebody else is, and they're not going to have the heart for it that I do.
Yeah.
They're not going to go in there with the same intention that I'm doing it. I'm always going to put the client's needs above my own.
Right.
Even a customer.
Right.
I have a tenant. I have rental properties. I had a tenant come into my office. He has a realtor. They were out seeing houses together because he's thinking of moving over there by Intercontinental.
Mm-hmm.
My house is in Pasadena. He comes and he goes, I need your advice. He goes, as a mentor, not as a realtor. Well, because kind of as a realtor, he goes, I see all your videos. I see your content. He goes, I know you know what you're doing. And he goes, I came to you as a mentor. He goes, so this is my situation. What should I do? And he goes, I'd like to stay in your house for another couple of years. He goes, or maybe buy something. What's your advice? Well, there's other people who are going to say, I'm going to keep that tenant. He pays on time every month.
Right.
I said, look, I'm going to let you know honestly, my honest opinion as a realtor and my fiduciary duty, my duty to you, even though he's not my client, he's just a customer, is that you should buy a house. Yeah. It is absolutely the best thing for you. Yeah. I said, because you're going to build equity in these next 2 years. I said, no, it's not going to go up at the rate that it had the previous 2 years, but you're still going to build a little equity. Your thing's not going to, your rent's not going to go up. And at the end of the year, and at the end of the time, when you move out and you sell that property, you're going to have a chunk of money to take with you. And again, it could be 2,000, it could be 10,000, it could be 20,000. You don't know how much equity is going to be, how to be there. But I can tell you what's not going to happen. When you move out of my house, I'm not going to give you a chunk of money back. Right. Maybe your deposit as long as you keep it clean. But, I said, so my recommendation is buy a house.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I said, now, if you want to keep renting, we can continue to have that discussion. I said, but I want you to know, I'm a huge proponent in homeownership. Mm-hmm. And so my tenants, they know that if at any time they want to buy a house, and they use me as a realtor, I will let them out of my lease. Right. I don't care because I'm a proponent. I'm a proponent in homeownership. Yeah. And not just homeownership, sustainable homeownership is even more important.
Yes.
Because one of the things we would always do when we take clients out was never, and again, going back to that pushy sale, that person didn't want to feel pushy. Mm-hmm. When you talk to people, I don't necessarily ask them what's their max price range. Like, what's the most you're qualified for a house? I don't want to hear the 250 number because I don't care what they're qualified for. Yeah. But the important is how much do you want to pay on a monthly basis? Right, if it's principal, interest, tax, and insurance, everything on included in one payment. Where's the monthly payment that you are comfortable with?
Yeah.
I want a $500,000 house, but I want a $1,500 payment. Well, I'm sorry, those things don't
match at all.
They don't match.
Right.
So educating them on that and telling them, like, well, the lender qualified me for $500,000. Well, that's great that you were able to qualify. Do you want the payment that goes along with that?
Right.
Well, no. Well, how much is the payment? You show them payment. Well, I don't want that payment. Then we don't want that house.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's part of the education is always doing what's best for them, not what's best for us. And doing those kind of things is when you're going to have repeat clients come back to you year after year, sending their cousins, their family, their friends, because they know that you're always looking out for their best interest, that you're always going to put their needs above your own.
Yeah.
And I always say in our team, we always say, I have a real estate license. I have a real estate license that provides for my family. My license is never worth one transaction.
Right.
There will never be a time where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this one thing for you to make it happen. No. Yeah. Because it's not worth my license. It's not worth my license, not worth my integrity.
Right.
And that's the thing is if you hold true and you hold on to those things will propel you into success.
Yeah.
Because you're going to do the right thing always.
Well, Ruby, I think we just got to the heart of real estate for you and what it is that you do and why you do it.
Yeah, and I got real serious there.
Yeah. No, that's it's so good. And thank you so much. Like, I think you've imparted some just awesome wisdom for our listeners and I would just say, like, this is real world living it out experience, and every bit of what you're saying, because I understand it, is true. Systems and processes, managing your calendar, caring deeply for your clients, giving, right? Coming with the giving mentality and not a taking mentality is what sets you apart. So and being okay when you get into real estate, knowing that there's gonna come a time that you're gonna do a deal or two that you're not gonna make money. Might even cost you money. It's part of it.
I think we've all. I think if you've been in this game long enough, there's been deals that have actually cost you money.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, those deals.
Yeah.
Can I share one last thing with you?
Sure, you can. Oh my gosh, absolutely.
I have this young client. I had this young client years ago. They were 18 and 19 years old.
18 and 19.
Yeah, they had one kid already, and they had another one on the way. Mm-hmm. And I remember they didn't make a lot. I mean, they're really young, but they wanted to get a house. And so I'm taking them to see these like little $65,000 houses, and they were scary. And she's holding her little baby, and I'm like, oh my gosh, to think this baby's gonna have to crawl around on these floors and everything. I felt like in a panic for them because all they could afford, the max monthly payment they could afford was like $700.
Okay.
And principal, interest, and taxes. PITI.
Right, exactly.
And so I remember going back to the office and looking at houses, like, what can I do for these people? They were approved with another lender that didn't offer DPA.
Okay.
So I told them, I said, hey, and they had been working with another realtor. So I remember at one of the showings, they're like, you're so nice. I'm like, oh, thank you. And they're like, no, it's because the other realtor would get mad at us. I'm like, what do you mean they should get mad at y'all? She would tell me, like, we had to pick a house. Like, why are we wasting her time bringing her out to like a second or third showing? We haven't picked a house. She was just that all the houses are dirty and funky and we don't want to be in there. And she was, but you're just so nice. And I'm like, okay, well, did she talk to you about down payment assistance?
Yeah.
And she's like, no. I was like, have you heard of as the city of Houston had the program? This is back in the days, obviously.
Yeah.
As the city of Houston had the program for a $20,000 down payment. And I said, and you promised you make a month. They told me, I'm like, oh, family of 3, one on the way. Y'all qualify, hands down, no problem. Call the lender, put them on the phone. I said, hey, get them qualified. And so by the time I got back to the office, I started looking at houses. And the lender's like, oh yeah, because we were able to get them qualified. Yeah. No problem. Your hands down, they get the grant program and the MCC credit. Right. They get it all the bells and whistles. So I called them up. I'm like, hey guys, I know we just got done seeing houses, but listen, there's one house in the area we're looking that I think is going to be the perfect house for you guys. Meet me there. I send them the address. I'm parked in the driveway. I see them pass by in my rearview mirror. And I'm like, I call them up. Hey guys, y'all passed me up. I'm here in the driveway. And they're like, oh, we saw your van, but we didn't know that was you. We just thought that house is way too pretty to be what she's showing us because everything they had been seeing was horrible. Right. So we go in the house, refinished wood floors, granite countertops, painted cabinets, everything fresh. It was investor. It was an investor property. Right. They're like this the whole time. I mean, yeah, it's nice, but we cannot afford something like this. And I said, well, remember I told you about the down payment assistance program. This house is listed at $85,000 with the DPA program that you're going to use. You get $20,000 off, basically. Yeah. You have to be willing to stay in the property for 10 years, and you'll get this property. And then so the market was obviously a lot. This must have been 2007, 2008. Different time. Yeah, way different time. Right. So you get this $85,000 house. We negotiated down to probably about $80,000. Get some closing costs paid. City of Houston covers the down payment plus the extra closing costs. This couple, I will never forget. They could only afford $700. Their monthly payment on that house was $600.75. And you got their monthly payment, and they got them into that house, and they sold that house with me a couple of years ago. They were in the house for 15 years. Yeah. They sold the house a couple of years ago, but throughout those 15 years, they sent me every friend and family that they ran into that wanted to buy a house, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 homes. Everybody that they knew, they were like, Ruby's your realtor. Yeah. So I can't tell you the amount of people that are in my database because of them. Yeah. Or that have grown from, maybe they referred somebody, and it was a $65,000 $85,000 sale, right? $85,000 home. But to me, it didn't matter. What mattered was finding this young couple a house that was going to be sustainable for them and their family. Right. That was going to be decent, safe, and sanitary for them. Right. And knowing that I could provide that education, that knowledge to help them find that product or that service that was going to help them get that dream of home ownership, because children who grew up in a home that's owned are different than children who grew up in rentals. I know. Sure. I lived in rentals all my life. Right. The pride of home ownership is different than having somewhere to come back after college or after you go out on your own and come home to your safe space. Yeah. I mean, it makes a world of a difference, and so that's always my thing, is I can provide that for the families that I do. And so this little couple, obviously they're grown adults now, probably in their 30s, right? And they're adults then, but it's just that right there for me is a sample of, as sometimes we have to go that extra mile, because sometimes it's like we are their only hope or their only resource, and they're counting on us as the professionals and the knowledgeable ones to guide them where the right thing to do, where they got to go, how they can get resources, how they can make the whole overall experience better. Yeah. Generational impact. And really that's what it is I'm really big on the breaking generational curses. And that is one of the things, home ownership.
Yeah.
You know, my mom never owned a home until we grew up, until I was an adult.
Yeah.
She owns a home now. She's owned a couple of houses now, but as growing up, we didn't own a home. My husband, the same thing. His mom, single mom, never owned a home. So we are curse breakers.
Right on.
We are generational
Amen.
curse breakers.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
we own homes. Heck, with my rental properties, I own several homes now.
Right. And what does that do for your children? Right. What you start impacts their lives, and then your grandchildren.
Well,
right?
the crazy thing, I was watching something recently. It said about, and I was actually going to do a video on this, about buying your children a house now.
Yeah.
Because at the rate of growth of values right now, our children right now who are under the age of 10 years old will not be able to afford a first-time home in 10, 15 years.
Wow.
They're going to be priced out of that first-time buyer market.
Right.
And so one of the greatest things that you could do for your child right now is purchase a home now, rent it out, have it rented out. Because here's the thing, when I realized that a rental is not about how much money you make right now, it's about what's it going to be worth in 20 years.
Right.
Or in this case, when your 6-year-old, if you have a 6-year-old daughter and she grows up and she gets married and starts her own family, and she has a choice of living in an apartment or you selling her a house that you locked in a low price at 20 years before.
Yeah. The house.
You know, the house. You're giving her a gift. Even if you sold it for a little, even if you sold it for what it's worth then, or not even worth what it's worth, but you sold it for a little bit just to get back some of what you invested in it.
Yeah.
The value is there. And so when I look at these properties that I own, I know that eventually these properties are going to go to my children. I have a 21-year-old daughter that I bought a house and she's living in. And I told her, I said, hey, once you're ready, you can buy this house from me at what I paid today.
Right.
You know, I mean, you got to work for it. You got to get your credit up. You got to have the income, but I will sell you this house at today's price.
Right. Right.
You know, and she can, and until you're ready, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now,
it's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll manage it. I'll rent it out. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so to be able to have that gift for my children in the future, it's a gift for myself. Some of the properties in the fact that we don't have retirement, we don't have a retirement account plan as commission only people. And my goal is to own 20 doors because I look at retirement and I'm like, I want that passive income coming in. Yeah. So my goal is 20 doors. I got 7 right now.
Right.
And then also to be able to leave something to my children and their children and their children. And then for them to know that real estate can be a gateway to so many things. And you don't necessarily have to be a realtor.
Right.
My kids don't want to be realtors right now. That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have to be in real estate to know that to be able to appreciate the value that real estate investments make for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
So true.
Yeah. So I'm doing as for my children in the future. Yeah. But don't get any idea, kids, if y'all watch this video later, because they're on my social.
Yeah.
I can't have the houses now.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. You don't get them yet.
Not
later,
yet.
When the time is right.
Yes, exactly.
That's so great.
Yeah. But thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, Ruby, the Texas Queen of Real Estate. If you want to know more, search out Ruby Miranda. You can't miss her. Texas Queen of Real Estate. She's out there. She's doing lots of awesome things. Connect with us, share, like, subscribe, share this show with a couple of your friends out there. That'd be really awesome. Yes. And we'll see you guys on the next edition of the Heart of Real Estate podcast.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Heart of Real Estate podcast. If you found this episode thought-provoking and helpful, do us a favor and share it with 2 of your friends. Also, feel free to leave any comments or reviews. And if you want to learn more about the Mortgage Mike Group, reach out. We'd love to connect.